Thank you very much. Thank everybody for being in the panel today. I'm going to be talking about something that I talk basically every day of my life. My partner knows very well about DePIN, and also this gentleman here as well, right? I think everyone, we spent a long time. It's been not for us, even though DePIN is a brand new name, it's quite recent. I think everyone in this stage have been doing DePIN for quite some time, even before the DePIN name. And yeah, I just want to thank everybody for joining, and it's always good to be with you guys again, right? Maybe you guys can start by introducing a little bit about yourself, just like one quick sentence so we don't use a lot of time, because there's a lot of exciting things we can talk today. Maybe start with Andrew.
Yeah, my name is Andrew. So I am a research scientist at RTX. So my role is actually accelerating the DePIN ecosystems, product and strategies. So we want to see more builders in the space. So I'm excited to be here and sharing more about DePIN's alpha. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Chess, and our product name is GM Network, which is Good Morning Network. And we build it with auto layer and eigenlayer. We build a AVS layer 2 for DePIN and AI.
Hello, everyone. My name is Luis Gruson, and I'm the co-founder of Quill. And for those of you who don't know about Quill, we are a decentralized relational database that allows for applications to run without a central authority. So excited to be speaking today.
Hey everybody, I'm Nico. I do partnerships and business development for Streamer Network, and my role is mostly about looking into DePIN projects and see how Streamer can integrate with the technologies.
Thank you. Okay, the first question I'm going to ask is going to be for Andrew. I know that IoTeX has been pioneer in the blockchain and IoT interaction. How do you think that you see blockchain and IoT work together so well, and how IoTeX is helping that to make it happen?
I think that's a very good question. So I think what we do at RTS is that we try to turn in every smart devices into mining devices. So you're realizing that our smart devices contain a lot of data, and that data is actually contain a lot of value. And this data and value is actually dominated by a few companies that issue the devices. We're not giving the benefit back to the users. So I think what we try to do at RTS is that we want to make DePIN for everyone. I think in Web 2.0 we used to own and write, but we didn't own the data of value. So at RTS we try to democratize the tech stack so that the builders can come in to leverage the existing device and turn it into a mineable devices that add value to real world. And from the value and data that you provide to the DePIN projects, they reward you the tokens in returns and make it DePIN is for everyone for that. So I think this is something that we has been in the space for like seven years ago. So I think that time is like called IoT blockchains, and now I think since last years I think people like DePIN a lot. So I think we are already building what the builder want, and then now it's the time for us to shine and empower more builders into the ecosystems. So I think that's what my test is, how can we get more deep into the master adoption. Is that we invite more builders, create more DePIN projects, attract more users, and then we have a lot of different kind of fun exploration in the gig economy space. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, next question is going to go for Nico. Streamer is building this real-time data transmission layer, pub/sub method. How does this interact with the DePIN method, and how important is to have a real-time transmission platform in crypto and Web3?
Yeah, great question. So first of all, super important. Real-time data in a DePIN project is super important. Think of all of the devices that are part of a DePIN, right? So you've got IoT devices, you've got phones, laptops, whatever is part of your network is transmitting data in some way. So whether this is real-time data or not doesn't play any role for now, but like think of like an automotive use case where you have a car sharing the real-time data to make some AI decisions and see, okay, do I have to turn, if it turns left, and there's another car, and the cars communicate with each other, they can react to that. Or if you don't have any real-time data use case in your DePIN use case, then you have at least some sort of a metrics use case where you have to check like how healthy the network is, and that's where you could use Streamer as well to check on the network health, essentially.
Nice, thank you. Luis, you guys are building a very interesting decentralized databases, right? I think I heard you guys moved from SQLite into Postgres. Pretty nice for those people who like databases like me. How do you see the importance of decentralized databases for Web3 and DePIN? I heard you guys working with a lot of DePIN and Web3 projects as well.
Yeah, so at, let's say, the highest level of abstraction, I'd say the value proposition of decentralized digital infrastructure, such as Quill, for DePINs is that it provides users within these DePINs visibility and trustless guarantees around how their data is accessed, stored, and rewarded. And kind of just to dive deeper into that, into a little more context, when we think about DePIN, we really think about it from like two perspectives, right? There's the decentralized physical infrastructure, which are the IoT devices generating data, gathering data, and providing it to some end user. And then there's the decentralized digital networks. That's effectively the tools that gather the data, store the data, and make it accessible to a demand side. And so when we're thinking about like the value proposition to DePINs, we think of it from the perspective of providing trustless guarantees really around three things. First, trustless guarantees around how the data is gathered. Second, really how that data is rewarded to the actual data gatherers. And third, really guarantees around the governance around how network interactions occur with all stakeholders within the network. So how governance works within your respective decentralized digital network. So yeah, and speaking to a lot of DePIN projects, I think that the initial confusion from a lot of people from the outside is that Quill, in and of itself, is DePIN, where in fact I'd classify ourselves as more as the decentralized digital networks, enabling DePINs to provide these trustless guarantees around the three things I mentioned: how data is gathered, how it's effectively used, and how it's rewarded. And then the third thing is how governance works for pretty much changing rules of engagement over time. So yeah, that's a little bit about our value prop.
Yeah, I've been trying to, tell them like, okay, maybe you can start having like a DePIN angle that you can install your own hardware to deploy your idle resources for a database. Maybe that's going to be the next step, right?
That'd be great. Yeah.
That'd be really cool. Next would be GM Network, the chess. You guys have been at the forefront of the AI and blockchain for quite some time. How do you see the AI really changing the way that the DePIN ecosystem or the Web3 ecosystem move forward from now?
That's why we built GM Network. We want to say good morning to every new things like DePIN and AI. And 2 points. One is I think like DePIN is out. Devices can generate a lot of data, and the data can really help for the AI training. So this is the one way. And I think I would call this RWA, real world action. No matter your wearable, like your wristband, your smart ring, your smart TV, even your robots in your home, even your Tesla, it's actually your DePIN devices. The data is really personal and it's real. So that's very, very suitable for AI training. And also there's a lot of very professional AI projects. They will helping you to use the data and train, and then they need to pay to the users. That's what we call it. Maybe we can call it data risk-taking. So yeah, that's a risk-taking modular one. And the other way is once all the AI projects, once they have some agent, they have some, they want to some showcase. They don't have super app. They don't have traffic. They don't have community. They don't have users. So that's what way we'll help them to. We have like the front end apps. We have the super showcase. We have the different kind of projects and DePIN devices. You can infuse your AI agent into the different things. Like let's take an example. Maybe my AI agent name is Cyberway, and once the Cyberway is like a real online, it's my personal generated by my personal data. Like now, this time say, oh, Chess, you need to drink 1 cup of water because today you don't have drink water a lot. But in the last half years, you always drink 1 cup of water every day. And now maybe today you need to sleep very earlier because yesterday your sleeping is not enough. So the AI will really help you to manage your healthy, manage your calendar, manage your time, manage your everything. So that's why I think the DePIN AI, how it works for us. not from the GPU side. We just want to more focus on the consumer side, from the retail side, because I think the days now we say DePIN and especially AI, it's more we should more we more prefer focus on the consumer side. Especially we have a lot of 8 billion users in the world. Most of them they don't have a chance to enjoy the fun of technology, enjoy the fun of AI. So let's make AI more fun by DePIN, by GM network, not so boring.
Yeah, no, I think also a way to onboard a lot of people is to remove the stigma of crypto, right? Like you want to be using a smartwatch that has some crypto aspects of it, but you don't care actually. As a user, I think the same way that I'm accessing a website, I don't really care if it's on Amazon, Google Cloud, even Flux. Flux is another DePIN project that is very interesting. But as a user, I don't really care. I wanted it to work and be fast. And that's the thing, is a challenge for a lot of the deployers and builders in the DePIN space, and crypto in general, is to make it not crypto focused. And actually the application they're trying to build and the solution that they're trying to solve, not about the infrastructure, but it's in the product itself, right? But then on the technological side of things, what do you think is, maybe I'm going to ask Andrew first. What do you think is like one of the hardest technologically challenging parts of building a DePIN project? And like I think IoTeX is solving a lot of those problems, building the very interesting DePIN focused L1. And how do you think you guys can solve that?
Yeah, I think this is a very good question. So in terms of like technical terms, I feel like in general, like building a DePIN is hard because like involving a complex tech stack from the hardware, middleware, blockchain, and also it's involving the tokenomics design. So in general, like that I think that will have a very high barrier for anyone, the builders in the space, try to build a DePIN project. So they will stop because it's too complex for any team. You need a very high capability in hardware, so that you need the expertise to raise a large amount of capitals. So one thing that I see the most challenging part is the DePIN verifications. So I think DePIN verification is we need that kind of trust on the DePIN project, so that we can trust the data from the device is actually coming from that device, so that we can send a reward to the owner of the device contributors. Otherwise, when you have tokenomics coming out and a lot of like bad actors, they will try to try to spam the tokenomics and try to become the fat at devices on the device. So I think that will bring a lot of problems to the existing protocol, even though the protocols want to incentivize the good data coming from the networks. So what we at RTS is trying to solve these layers is that we have this decentralized off-chain compute. So this off-chain compute is actually adding as a proof of layer. So we can verify the data coming from devices is actually can be verified, can be transferable by using existing encryption methods like GKP or any existing like the others like the fully homomorphic encryptions, which the Xiaofeng mentioned this in the speech today. So there's a lot where encryption can be used to enforce that kind of like transparencies, trust, privacies, and then at the same time we can serve the DePIN projects to bring back the capitals to have a large miners coming into the ecosystem. Otherwise, you have a large network of devices that nobody trusts, and then I think that will hurt us the mass adoption of that project. So yeah, so I think my take to that. Thank you.
What about you guys? What are the difficulties of running a DePIN project, and how are you guys solving it?
Yeah, I mean, Andrew went like pretty in depth with regards to some of the technical hurdles, and in thinking about this question, I almost think that it could be interesting to look at it through the lens of a non-technical side, in terms of we have a bunch of people here building a lot of solutions to help on the technical side for DePINs, but something I've seen in speaking to projects is for the ones that are like kind of floundering, they have like a half-baked perception of what their demand for their data looks like. And I think this is a big problem because when we're thinking about bottom-up building of your networks, a lot of these IoT device operators who invest a lot of money and time in actually buying and running this infrastructure really need to have guarantees or at least a general understanding that the market they're providing data for is large enough for them to be rewarded substantially, or at least substantially over time. So I think that it's really boils down to like first principles of business, right? Is your addressable market large enough for the data you're gathering to be valuable over time? And I think that with the solutions being built, leveraging tools to pretty much plug and play what you need, I think that's becoming more robust over time, like Andrew mentioned. But really, I think for DePINs to grow, they need to kind of go back to basics. Think about first principles of business and how the data they're gathering and the service they provide is valuable.
Yeah, I mean, I think as a developer and engineer myself, sometimes I just want to build, you know, and I think that's a big problem with engineers in general is that a lot of times you just want to build because we like playing with Legos, but of course like a Lego 2.0. And then, okay, I build this really cool thing, but nobody really needs, right? And that's what I think when you become a founder, you're going to start thinking, okay, as a businessman, who is going to buy my product before even you start to build that, right? And then from you guys, I think from Chaz, like...
Yeah, if you are build a pure software DePIN, it's only like engineer things, right? But what if you are Tim Cook now? You want to build a DePIN Vision Pro. So the first thing is how I design it. You need to find a design studio for the 3D design. So this is the first difficult, and for the most of the developers. Second, how can I find the supply chain, the factory? We both know it's in Shenzhen, right? And part of like maybe like Solana, Saga Phone, they find some factory in Taiwan. And the third one is which chain I should build on. You can choose Ethereum, you can choose Polygon, you can choose a lot of chains, but still, the chain you selected, the key problem is the gas fee. So I think the gas list is a very pain point for when mobile internet and Web 2 really goes to public. So gas rates of killer app or killer things, I think. So that's why GM Network are totally gasless. We don't want all the developers know that, yeah, I need to still concern about the gas things. Like today you sell some phones, some wearable devices, like let's say to Nigeria or to Latin America, you need users still register Binance, buy some ETH token as your gas, and then deposit it to your apps. It's nonsense. It's very make nonsense. So this is the third one. And the fourth one is what kind of wallet solution I need to use. EOA is like your grandma is too old. So the best solution is with your combines with a passkey, account abstraction, and DID in one thing. So like let's say you just use a Face ID, like use your iPhone, and you already created your account, and the account will be very seamless. You don't need to worry about the security because Apple will secure all the wallet security for you, and through the Apple through the whole wallet things, you will have your DID. But we don't tell you it's a DID because you don't need a Web2 user or real user know what is DID, what the fuck is DID, right? You just have a nickname. Like my nickname is Chess. So actually your DID is chess.gm, but you don't need to show them. The more things you show them, the more things they are confused. What is that? What is this? So the last one is once you have the chain, you have the device, you have the wallet, how to control the tokenomics. So that's the most difficult part for the DePIN, I think. Like mobile, they have a very bad, I think, excellent business model, but the tokenomics, I think, can be better. Like so, that's why we want to build this eigenlayer for risk taking. You know, like as a ETH maxim, I think the risk taking is really the most important thing in Ethereum ecosystem. So you can, with your tokenomics, with risk taking, to build more some positive flying wheel and accelerate more users have the more addicted into your ecosystem. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really like the idea as well to actually make crypto something that's mainstream. Your grandma, they shouldn't be able to remember her 12th words, right? She barely remember your name, so she's gonna remember the. So I think that's gonna be. I think it's our responsibility to find ways to make very accessible for everyone in every ages to be able to understand in a very simple terms and start interacting with that. Another thing that I wanted to bring that is something that I found personally I'm very passionate about on the crypto and especially on DePIN is the idea of composability, right? It's like between DePIN projects. There's a lot of projects that they're doing certain solutions that other projects need as a resource, and instead of actually using some Web 2 or some centralized way, they can just use that third-party Web 3 protocol. I think it's a good, maybe like I talked to you, Nico, Streamer is doing as a real-time infrastructure. They're actually working with a lot of different DePIN projects. Which one is the one that you like, and then you can talk about that?
Yeah, I think this is a great opportunity to talk about the Quill Streamer partnership because we actually, again, like my job is kind of to reach out to projects and see how we can work together, especially DePIN projects. And Quill was one of those projects that actually approached me in Istanbul. And basically, a lot of projects that we get ask about data storage, and I always have to say, like we kind of concentrate on the data transport end of things, and we're always looking for decentralized storage. And now finally we've got a partner over here, and we actually got a first project that is seriously thinking about integrating this partnership. It's called PowerPod, and basically what's happening here is that you would subscribe to data coming from DePIN devices, for example, PowerPod devices, and then you would buffer this real-time data, right? This real-time data is coming in all the time, and then storing it on the Quill database. So yeah, it's great. So to answer your question, why composability, or why is it important? I would say, well, first of all, to kind of, make it easier for projects to integrate different kind of infrastructure, but also to give them more choice. Like which technology should I integrate? Is that really important? Maybe I just keep that one out and just take that one. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah. What do you guys think as well?
Yeah, I mean, like Nico mentioned, this adapter, this integration is really opening up some interesting possibilities within the DePIN space, especially from the context of getting IoT-specific data onto Quill networks. When I think of like composability, a lot of the use cases outside the DePIN space for Quill really leverage composability from the perspective of really boiling down the idea of the whole being greater than the sum of its parts, right? So being able to compose with different data sets coming from different locations. Combining that, you could get more valuable insights than would otherwise be available to these more siloed data sets. And I can't claim coming up with this idea. I was actually speaking to Andy from PowerPod earlier about this. Really, this concept of Internet of Energy, being able to compose data being gathered by PowerPod with potentially data coming from Arcrin, combined with data coming in from demo electric vehicles, really to have a more broad understanding of the energy sector via the different, effectively, DePIN networks gathering this data. And, right, so when we're comparing to a traditional Web 2 company, right, these are much larger data sets. So how do you become competitive? I think composability is a great way when pretty much these DePINs are in their early stages to be able to provide more valuable insights than would otherwise be available through Web 2 incumbents. It's really through composability. And to kind of plug Quill a little bit, that's something that Quill networks are especially good at, being able to store data amongst multiple parties and enable easy composability directly in your network. So yeah.
Thank you. Jess?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Andrew? Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I just want to add on, like, the way I see composability in three ways. I think the first way is the tag composability. So what Streamers is mentioned. So I think we also have like the use case with streamers and demos. I think in that case, I think for the example that we are dealing with is like, so we use the streamer as a part-sat, so we get the data from demo vehicle devices, and then I think on top of that, like the vehicle data can be computed over the web stream, which is the middleware, the decentralized off-chain compute to bring that proof on chance. So for example, like I drive like 10 kilometers today, and then that 10 kilometers credentials is actually encrypted using the zero knowledge proof and to be stored on chain, so that in case any like insurance company they want to chat or verify whether you drive how much every day, then they can chat on the GKP on chain, and then they will unlock a lot possibility to the real world, and then they can offer a per miles insurance based on the driving distance you prove on chance. So a lot of policy can be done on that side. So the second composability that Quill co-founder says is a data composability. So I think this is very interesting, and it's happening in DePIN space. So if you can see, our test is kind of a DePIN coordination layers, where we have a lot of builders built on top of IoTS ecosystem. We have the builders from wireless, which bring the wireless data, how people consume the connectivities in every day. And then we have the like Star Powers or Acrin, they have the consumers, the electricity consumers consumption data. So I think there will be a lot more fun if we can compose the data in different dimensions and to combine that to create a compounding value that will be very, very well to the advertisement. They will want to target specific targets, then they can find the DePIN projects. Can I get the data sets and maybe like monetize that and giving that rewards back to the data contributors in different protocols? I think that will bring a lot more values. Yeah, and then the last one that I want to add on is it's kind of like a DePIN assets composability, because if eventually all the DePIN project will issue the tokens, regardless what the token is, very essential piece of the DePIN project. So I think that, on that side we have the DeFi, so you can have staking, restaking, landings, even use the DePIN assets as collateral to mint the stablecoin. So I think there's a lot more space to explore there. So that's why we are very excited for DeFi, DeFi for DePIN summers that is coming on IoTS ecosystem. We will see this happening a lot more in the next few months. So this is my take on your question. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, just one thing that I would like to ask you guys, and maybe I'll start with Chess now. From looking at the DePIN ecosystem and the projects that are coming up, maybe there's a lot of projects that they have no tokens yet, they're not out, they're not live yet. From all the DePIN narrative, what are the projects that you're most excited about that are coming up in the future? Especially if those projects are not so crypto native. Because one thing that's very interesting about DePIN is that it's real use cases, real, like we're not just interfacing with money, like just DeFi. Actually, we're providing something that even without the crypto could be useful. And I would like to ask you guys, what are the projects that you're most excited about outside of crypto?
Yeah, I would say 3 maybe. Still, I think the best DePIN project to consumer, to retails is still not born yet. So we still need to waiting. And the first one is OOP. It's a wristband, no screen, very cool. Like you just wear something, a band, and you can manage your sleep time, your sleep data, your health data, your sports data. It's very cool. But it's so expensive, like $240 per year. The device is free, but you need to pay the software as a subscription. So I very like that one. And the second one is Aura Ring. It's near like $400, which if you equals to ETH token, it's not expensive, right? And it's also very smart and wireless charge and wear on your ring, on your finger, and also manage your sleep data, your blood pressure, blah, 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 different things. Very cool. It's like something from the future. And the last one is a phone called Rabbit. Like in the January, the CES is just published. It's very, to be honest, the whole boom, like the inside, is all the old stories, old things. But they just rebrand and use a new UI and UX to give the users a very fancy experience. Like you don't need, just forgot the button, the home button, or the screen button. You just talk to your AI phone, like, hey, Rabbit, I want to call Uber from here to Central to Hong Kong airport. hey, we'll do it for you. So all the three kind of DePIN devices to consumer, out to retails, and I think they all very, very suitable for build a DePIN devices. It's really cool, and I think for the consumers, the design, the marketing is the first. You need to drive the expectation, and you need to drive the emotional, and all the users, all the markets know, oh, it's really the best time to buy. Like you buy the NFT 2 years ago. Yeah.
Thank you. What do you guys, Nico?
Yeah, sure. I think one project I'm super excited about at the moment is Ator. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's like a Web3 version of Tor, of the Tor network, essentially. And another DePIN project that I'm personally also really excited about is Sourceful. I think they had a talk earlier as well. Yeah, which is really cool. I really like the idea of like DePIN devices in your home and like measuring your energy, or like even your car, if you want to count that as part of your home, collecting data and being able to also maybe monetize that in a way and kind of earn earn tokens from that data. So that's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this might be more of like a call to action in terms of a project I would like to see in the future in the DePIN space. I think that something along the lines of DePIN related to recording recycling or home garbage producing kind of data could be immensely valuable. And if it exists or is an early stage, we'd love to chat with that project. If not, I mean, there's a lot of very capable, smart people here, so I'd be curious if that's of interest to anyone. I know in places like the European Union, if we go kind of more niche than just general recycling, there's a lot of regulations revolving around the recycling of electric vehicle batteries. I'd be curious to see if A, there's a market for this, but B, generally speaking, like the technical hurdles you'd need to go through in order to actually record the data around the deterioration of an electrical vehicle battery, to provide that data to recyclers, for example. I think there's a large narrative around the need to recycle and more effectively manage waste in our society. So I'd be curious to see if there's a general use case for DePIN as a better way to gather data and make that accessible to third parties to potentially minimize carbon emissions, make the collection of this waste more effective, and really make that whole process easier. But it's kind of like a call to action, wishful thinking, but I think that'd be...
Yeah, that sounds really interesting, find a way to use blockchain to tackle these like waste problems, right? I think that could be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I believe that one of the hard things for DePIN and crypto become mainstream is the accessibility, right? Like Chess was mentioning before. How do you guys think where do you think we are right now? Where do you think we have to do? And how easy crypto can become in the near future for anyone to use? I guess Chess was a good one to start.
Yeah, thank you. I think compared to the whole games industry, because actually DePIN for consumer, for the retail side, is more like a game. So we are still in like 20 years ago. There's no PS, no PS5, no Xbox. It's still like the Nintendo.
Still blowing under the cartridge.
Yeah. We're still early. And so I think DePIN, I just think a sentence about the whole things. I think DePIN is the middleware of the real reality and the cyber world. I prefer use the cyber world as very like the cyberpunk the game. And so with the middleware, and they connect the data and they connect the demands. So we need to very focus on the market the users need. No users, intention, attention, no markets, no DePINs. Because all the data was in assumption is users really use the device and have a strong willing to generate the data. So if there are no real user mass adoption, no way. And second one is, what we want to do is we want to be the giant incentive network to all the IoT devices which is already existed. I think nowadays we have like 20 billion IoT devices. If you have like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi connections, that makes your smart devices. And so what if we can incentive all the devices and make them combine first and then sell them DePIN devices more? Like Demo really do smart. Like you can connect with CarPlay, use the Tesla, and also you can buy the box, right? But buy the box is more hard work, and you need to pay. Yeah.
$99. You can buy it
Yeah.
at Hotspotty. Yeah. Anybody else would like to talk about?
Yeah, I feel like we are still at very early stage. If you look at smart devices amount in the world, we have about like maybe 20 billions. So I think the next thing that going to happen is that we have account extractions in the Ethereum ecosystem. But I think what we want is actually hardware abstractions. So how can we make use of existing devices on the world today is to turn it into a mineable data, and the values extract from the existing device can be helpful for the new type of the networks, which is called DePINs. So I think this is something that very excited me when I'm doing as a research scientist at RTS. So every day I see a lot of different verticals. They come to us and then try to pitch a different type or monetize or the data or services in the DePIN form. So I think that is very important. So if we can make it the hardware onboardings easy, and then that will bring a lot of more adoption to the space. You just like turn your smartphone into DePIN devices that can earn reward from multiple DePIN protocols. I think that will be very cool. And eventually pay out of your device cost for that. So I think it will turn passive income in your pockets while you are sleeping. So I think this is very cool trends, and we'll see more devices onboarding on the ecosystem. Yeah.
What about you, Nico?
I'm not sure what I forgot the question. What was the question?
Yes, we're still in a very complicated DePIN ecosystem. Like interfacing with crypto is very complicated, right? How do you see that going forward in the future? How do you think that the steps that companies need to do to make things more straightforward?
I think like in the streamer, through the lens of streamer, we really struggle with Web 2 at the moment. Because you have the transaction fees, right? We run on Matic. So not only do the developers have to have a wallet, but they also need to understand what Matic is. So this is like even for Web3 developers almost like a problem. So we always have to kind of send them Matic so they can make transactions and like handle the permissions and all of that. So this is kind of something we need to solve for ourselves as well, while also maintaining the decentralization aspect of it and not like taking away the power of the people. So it's really like we need like a 2.5 version, but we're not quite sure how to get there. Something we're trying to figure out at the moment. But yeah, it's.
Yeah, I mean, clearly there's a lot of work ahead of us, which is a good thing. It's going to be a really big challenge, I believe, to make crypto very streamlined and very easy for everyone. But I mean, I think that's why we're here, and that's why we work every day, right? To try to onboard more and more people. And yeah, I mean, I would like to thank you guys for joining the panel today. I think it was very interesting. I would like to do like a couple plugs. First, tomorrow morning there's a real world event by IoTex that's going to happen. There's the DePIN Day as well, and there's a DJI event that's going to happen. So there's a lot of really cool DePIN things that are going to happen tomorrow. You can check on the panel list. Also check DePINHub.io is a new launch pad for DePIN specific projects that we're building. And we also run a podcast where we interview great founders, investors, deployers, and everyone in the space. And yeah, I just want to thank everyone for coming today and just like talk about DePIN and nerd out. Thanks so much.